Good morning, everyone. We are going to continue with the last week first lecture where we introduced uh, soil erosion. So this lecture will be dealing with uh, the control of soil erosion, especially the erosion caused by water. And this is our course under Introduction to Soil and Water Conservation. And today we will be dealing with control of soil erosion, especially the water erosion. Just a recap of last year, last time what we have discussed. We discussed the basics about soil erosion, its causes, its type, and also we discussed the different agents which causes soil erosion. We discussed about erosion caused due to wind, erosion caused due to water, and also we have discussed what is the formation, how accelerated erosion is a danger for cultivation or crop productivity, and the rate of erosion is very slow. We also discussed about the erosion tolerance, where we have detailed that if erosion extends more than 11 ton per hectare in a year, then it is a dangerous sign. If it is contained within 11 ton per hectare, then the soil fertility or soil nutrient level can be maintained up to 20 to 25 years. And we also discussed different types of water erosion, like raindrop, then sheet erosion, rill erosion, gully erosion, stream bank erosion. And today we will be discussing about what are the different types of control measures that we can adopt to control the water erosion. So the basic principle for water erosion control is the strategies that we have to adopt is for conservation must be based upon two major things. One, we have to control the impact of raindrop, because it detaches the soil particles from its parent bed. And second, what causes the major erosion is the flowing runoff or rainfall water. These two has to be controlled, and this should form the basic strategy for soil erosion control. Topics which can come under this is covering the soil to prevent it from the rainfall. We have to make measures so that the impact of rainfall on the bare soil should be minimum. So we have discussed that we have to cover the soil maybe with vegetation, so that the kinetic energy with which the raindrop is falling can be minimized. Second is the increasing the infiltration capacity of the soil and to reduce the runoff. Now in this course we would be coming across many new terms like runoff, and many would come in the coming slides. So we have to be more acquainted with these terms. Like runoff is the excess rainfall after precipitation of rainfall which flows through the inland due to slope. That is runoff. So we can increase if infiltration capacity of the soil is increased, then more soil will be absorbed in the soil bed, and thereby it will reduce the runoff. If runoff is reduced, what will happen is it won't carry the soil particles from one place to another. As we have already discussed, soil erosion is detachment, transportation and deposition of soil particles. So the transportation of soil particles will not take place. Third is improving the aggregate stability of the soil. If we have proper vegetation, we can improve the soil health by the form of adding more humus, more organic material, so the soil health of the place is increased. Next is strategy could be increase surface roughness to reduce the velocity of runoff. As we have already discussed, runoff is the excess rainfall excess water which flows from the land to. Now the purpose, the strategy for erosion control should be, the fourth point that we were discussing, we should increase the surface roughness. If water flows through a bare soil, it will flow with more velocity and there would be more flow. As a result, more soil particles would be transported from one place to another place. So if you increase the surface roughness, that is the beds, if the beds of the stream, nala or small streamlets are roughness is increased by the way of vegetation, it will give more resistance to the flow of water, thereby it will reduce the velocity of flow, and as a result the erosion is also decreased. This strategy also is followed in many control measures that we will be discussing in the coming slides. If we talk about, till now we are discussing only the control measures caused by erosion due to water. This can be broadly classified into two groups: agronomic and biological measure, and second is the engineering measures. Agronomic and biological measure, as the name suggests, this is the simplest and most efficient and the least expensive measure which can be adopted for the control of water erosion. This measure include basically crop management, agricultural management, timely sowing. There are many processes involved that we will be discussing. And second is the engineering measure, which is more expensive, and these measures are adopted when the control through agronomic or biological measure is not possible. So this type of measure, where some manipulation of soil is required, where some structural construction is required, where some cutting and filling of the land is required, then there we go for the engineering measures. And in between that agronomic and engineering measures, there are some certain soil amendments, like some management techniques like timely sowing, summer tillage, minimum tillage. This can also be adopted for increasing the soil health as well as reducing the erosion. First, coming to the agronomic and biological measures. Erosion is controlled through crops or vegetation. In all the measures, the basic strategy which we have discussed in the previous slide has to be adopted. Here there has to be some management technique which we have to use during cultivation so that the erosion is minimized. So how we do it, we will be discussing in the subsequent slides. This control aims at providing a suitable crop cover for as long a period as possible during rainy seasons. We have already discussed, if rain is falling on a bare soil, the impact of erosion would be more. So if we cover the soil with whatever available material, like bushes or crop cover, then what it will happen is it will intercept the impact of raindrop. That is, the kinetic energy with which raindrop is falling on the soil would be reduced and would be trapped by the vegetation. So thereby the erosion effect would be minimal. And these all measures include crop rotation. Second is crop cover cropping, contour farming, strip cropping, mulch tillage, or simply we can call it stubble mulching. So these are the measures, that agronomic measures, which can be adopted very profitably in control of soil erosion when erosion is still at a primitive stage. Then we can have this type of control. Now coming to crop rotation. See, this crop rotation is a technique where successive different crops are grown in the same piece of land. To explain it in a simple term, as also indicated in this figure, there is a farm boundary, there are many patches of land. What crop rotation suggests is, if you are growing a particular crop, a particular set of crop in a particular patch of land in a particular year, in the subsequent season, in the next season or in the next year, there should be rotation. The crop which is grown here in the first year, same crop should not be grown in the second year. If we have 4 set of crops, there has to be a continuous rotation. This crop will come here in the next season, this will come here, this will come here. Say these are the 4 patches of land. We are growing crop 1 here, crop 2 here, crop 3 here, crop 4 here in a particular year. In the next year we have to shift. This will come here, this will come here, this will come here. So a continuous cycle takes place. So what is the advantage of this is, the advantage of this is the rotation of crop reduces erosion. How it will reduce erosion? Because when we grow crop of different types, say a cereal crop and a legume crop, both has got, one would be different structure, different canopy, different root zone, different root profile. So both will not come, one will take, one would be erosion permitting, the other would be erosion resisting. So that way it will provide a buffer for the flow of rainwater. That way it will reduce the soil erosion. Second, it increases the soil fertility. We have discussed because we are growing different type of crop, and the rooting pattern of all the crops are different. Some would be shallow rooted crop, some would be deep rooted crop. Say a particular crop which is shallow rooted is grown in a particular year. If it is grown in the next year too, what will happen? It will take the root regime, or the root zone would be same. It will extract the nutrient from the same root zone or the vadose zone. But if you rotate it, the next year if you are growing deep rooted crop, what will happen is, from the same field, it will take the moisture and nutrients from a deeper zone. So from the same, the maximum nutrient is utilized from the same field. Of course, this crop rotation varies with land, economic condition and cropping system. How? Because we all know all land are not suitable for all type of crop. So there could be some constraint. Built across the slope of the land, and it is constructed along the field boundaries. Sometimes since the farm holding are here in our area is very small, and in patches not at a one place, the field boundary of the farmer's field is also converted into bund. Such type of bund we call it field bund or peripheral bund. But construction of bund, we have to construct an embankment of soil, so that the flow of running water is obstructed. Some type of obstruction we have tried to do in agronomic measures. Here it would be more stronger than this agronomic measures. There are 2 types of bund. One is contour bund and second is your graded bund. Contour bunds are bund embankments which are constructed along the contour of the land or conforming to the contours of the land. And this graded bund is where we do not follow the contour, and contour bunds are specially constructed in area where the rainfall is less, than 600 mm per year. And for medium rainfall or high rainfall area, we have to go for graded bund. because once we construct bund on the contours, there would be accumulation of water, and if there is higher rainfall, higher accumulation, more volume of water, then this water will break or breach the bund. So in graded bund for high rainfall area like ours, Jharkhand, what we do is we give a certain grade to the bund so that the excess water is drained off through some outlet. Second mechanical or engineering measure is terraces. Terraces are nothing but platforms of nearly leveled surface constructed on a hilly terrain. What we do here is the slope of the length of slope of the land is reduced, shortened by some cut and fill. In the upstream side we cut some land, and the same soil is put in the downstream side, so that we can have more or less leveled surface. So this is a very steep ground. Here we have converted into series of benches, or we call it terraces. We call it bench terraces. There are two types of bench terraces: broad base terrace, and second is bench terraces. This again we will be discussing in our practical classes, where we will be designing this bench terraces and broad base terraces. Third control measure for water erosion, as far as mechanical or engineering measure is concerned, is vegetative waterways. So when there is excess water in our field area, main crop area, the excess water has to be removed. For that, at the lower elevation there has to be some drain, and this drain we provide at the lower elevation, so that the excess water or the excess drain which is coming from these bench terraces or the bunds is removed at a safe, non-erosive velocity that is accomplished by this vegetative barrier. So it is defined as natural or constructed waterway shaped to required. Definition can differ in many, the language can differ, but the basic thing is that, so these are your bunds and terraces. So the excess water from here through some small openings will be coming, and there would be a conduit which is called a grassed waterway. Why it is grassed or vegetative waterways? Because on the bed we plant some certain type of erosion resisting grasses, so that the resistance of flow can be increased. The basic purpose of soil conservation or water erosion control is to reduce the velocity to a non-erosive velocity, and this is accomplished by grassed waterway. And coming to more complicated structures are gully control structures. Gully we know, this one form of water erosion, and it's a severe form of rill erosion, where the gully, where the rill deepens as well as widens in depth and length. So this gully is again a prime source for carrying or conducting the soil which comes through runoff, and this gully over the period of time, if it is not attended, it will increase in size and deepens, and lot of cultivable or productive land is rendered useless through this gully. To control such type of gully, we have three measures. One is temporary measure, second is semi-permanent, and third is permanent measures. Temporary, as the name suggests, it is designed to have a life of 2 to 5 years. We put across along the slope whatever material available, like wood, bushes, sand. In this case, in this photograph we have seen sandbags across the bed of the gully, so that whenever there is a runoff, it will obstruct the speed of the runoff, and if the speed is broken, then it will flow with a non-erosive velocity. This is a temporary structure. Then again, semi-permanent structure, which has a life of 5 to 10 years. Here we use boulders, and to support the boulders we weave it with galvanized iron wires, so that it remains as a one unit, and it gives higher resistance to bigger flow of water or runoff. Third is your permanent structure, which has a life of more than 10 years. this is basically constructed through cement, and this is avoided. We try to avoid this type of structures because it is very expensive. And there are many types of gully. In the initial stages where the gully starts, there is a separate class on gully. So there we will discuss how gully is formed. There is first order, second order, third order. When it is formed at the initial stage, we try to control with temporary structures, and when 2 or 3 gully combine together and form a stream, there we put the semi-permanent structures, like Gabian structure is a very common structure, semi-permanent structure, and towards the lower reach of the stream we try to put this permanent structures. So this is all for today. In the next class we will be discussing about this land use capability classification, where all these measures we will discuss. According to this classification, there are 8 classes, 4 suitable for agriculture, 4 not suitable for agriculture. So we will identify which type of control measure is suitable for which type of land, and for non-agricultural situation which is more suitable. So I am showing some pictorial things about this vegetative, agronomic as well as mechanical control. This is another way. This is we call it intercropping. You must have studied in agronomy, where 2 different crops are grown. And also vegetative barrier on the bunds. To stabilize the bund, we can grow some alfalfa or more erosion resisting crops, so that the stability of the bund is increased. This time I would like you to do something. I am giving you an assignment. You can send it to me on this email ID. It's available in standard books. Even you have got many sources, internet and others. You make a note of this. Discuss the agronomic measures to control water erosion in an agriculture field. This is what we have discussed. I want you to make a note, prepare a detailed note of this and send it to me within a week. Thank you for your attention.